For our study, we are utilizing the effect of COVID-19 on college students' mental health longitudinally. This will be presented by Marianne Ali, Valerie Dunn, Sophia Nahal, Sydney Summer, and Anna Stornello. First, we're going to start with our introduction, then move on to methods and the references. For our introduction, the COVID-19 pandemic has had broad impact on the mental health of many individuals. However, we are particularly interested in how college students are impacted. As these students undergo some of their most formative years, this study will attempt to elucidate the pandemic's impact on depression and anxiety and current undergraduate students feel, and if it lessens over time. Though COVID-19 and its health and safety guidelines are unprecedented for this generation, natural disasters have been previously documented to impact college students' mental health negatively. In a study published by Bianchini and colleagues in 2015, self-reported questionnaires showed that PTSD increased among college students after the L'Aquila earthquake of 2009. It can be assumed that witnessing something acutely traumatic will raise these issues, but what about the more prolonged exposure to a virus that took almost a year to create a vaccine for and happened over a chronic period? The project is not the first of its kind regarding how the pandemic has affected college students. Still, like the virus itself, it is essential to measure the outcome as things progress vigilantly. In January of 2021, Copeland and his colleagues found through a series of wellness, mood, and stress self-reporting surveys that as a whole, first-year college students have found themselves in an increasingly worse mood and with less healthy habits than the same surveys given to students in previous years. Interestingly, those involved in student wellness projects on campus had fewer symptoms of stress manifesting. Another study mirrored these results in a 2021 cross-sectional questionnaire led by Browning and his team to students across 7 different universities. They also found that minority groups such as women, Asian American, and Hispanic groups were more likely to be psychologically affected by the pandemic. However, much like Copeland's study, those who participated in activities away from a screen or outdoors with others were less likely to feel negative impacts than those who did not, regardless of gender, ethnicity, finances, etc. What lacks in these situations provided, though, is that when these surveys were administered, the vaccine had not been formulated yet. The advancement in medication has provided new hope for society as a whole, and we wish to see if this turning point has alleviated any stress in the undergraduates compared to previous iterations. The study will fill gaps in previous research on natural disasters' impact on mental health by continuously measuring the effect on mental health that disaster has had not only upon its initial happenstance, but also as the conditions around the disaster continue to improve. There is lack of information of depression and anxiety decreasing as issues are resolved, or if there's a lasting psychological damage given by the immediate disaster itself. The studies previously given showed that yes, there is significant decrease in mental health after disaster, such as an earthquake, but do these negative side effects persist even as structure is rebuilt in society that is returning to normal? It is known that the COVID-19 pandemic and its subsequent effects of social distancing, remote learning and work, and lack of typical college activities do have a negative impact on undergraduates' mental health. However, as vaccinations become more widely available, social distancing is lessened, and society attempts to return to its previous state, does mental health recover? It is proposed that as time goes on and the virus's impact is lessened through various means, the negative mental health effects will lessen as well, and the high level of anxiety and depression scores shown through previous COVID-19 research will decrease. Currently, when presented with pictures of groups wearing masks, social distancing, and empty schools, depression and anxiety rates will be high, but over a longitudinal study of 10 years, these scores will diminish, even when presented with the same media depictions.
So the design of the experiment will indicate the total measurements of the participants' mental health on a scale. The independent variable used in this experiment will be being primed with photos of COVID-19 standards or not, and the dependent variables will be anxiety, depression, and stress. The definition of anxiety, stress, and depression in this study is a total score of at least 10 on any combinations of the 3 Likert scales used. Because we are able to control the type of questions being given, as well as only having undergraduate students in the study, we will be able to measure the outcome of the dependent variables.
So the materials being used in this study will include electronic devices such as iPads, cell phones, etc., Google Forms to collect the data, We will also be going by the CDC COVID-19 health guidelines to administer the survey. We will also be using the Beck Depression and Anxiety Inventories, 21 Likert self-scoring questions, and depression inventory scores going from 0, which is I do not feel sad, to 3, which means I am so sad and unhappy that I can't stand it. And the anxiety inventory scores go from 0, not at all, to 3, severely, it bothered me a lot.
Participants we will be using are the undergraduate college students who volunteer to participate in an online survey. We'll be using the first 200 students who volunteer, and they can be from any major, and there's no age criteria for our study either. We are going to reward the volunteers with a $5 Amazon gift card, and assignments to the control and experimental groups will be randomized based on a random number generated through the internet. There's going to be 100 participants in each group, and our desired demographic will be college students from the ages of 18 to 25. We are not going to be discriminating based on gender, sexual orientation, or ethnic background, and we're going to try to diversify our sample to match the demographic of our school, but maintain a roughly equal gender and ethnicity distribution. And we're also going to try to have a equal distribution of academic status, meaning like the year they are in school. And for the procedure, we are going to be using our students who wish to take the survey and can have access to any they can have access to internet with any kind of device to participate. They are going to be given the Beck Anxiety and Depression inventories to complete. The control group are going to answer the same inventories, but without being shown the pictures of COVID-19 related social standards. And these answers are going to be run through an ANOVA test to determine their statistical significance in the study. And we are also going to include validity tests to ensure more accurate data is obtained, such as click somewhat agree to verify that the participant is paying attention to the survey itself and answering to the best of their ability.
And these are our references. Thank you so much.